Dear viewers, immigration rules are frequently changing, which is very important for migrant community and all of us. Why won't the world tackle the refugee crisis? Are the High Court judges under pressure by government policy? How deporting people silently? Why immigration detention center misbehaves with detainees? Is the immigration enforcement used by government lawfully? How immigrants are victim of domestic violence? What will be the UK relationship with the European Union after Brexit? Fear spreads. Protests across the world. We should know the reality. I try to collect all the latest immigration news regularly. If you like this video, please stay with us to follow my Facebook page and YouTube channel, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends. Let's go to the news. Home Office backs down on nearly 13,000 immigration appeals in 5 years. The Home Office has been forced to back down from almost 13,000 immigration appeals in the past 5 years, according to figures obtained by the National through Freedom of Information (FOI) legislation. The vast majority of these were lodged from within the UK. The release of the figures marks a significant stage in the National's long-running battle with the Home Office, and only came to light after the Information Commissioner warned the department could face legal action for not responding to our original FOI request within the required timescale. Last November we asked a series of questions relating to the number of appeals made against visa decisions since 2012, the number that had been upheld and rejected, and the number from which the Home Office withdrew before a hearing. Migrant ass kissers get AF. Racist thugs scrawl graffiti on Govanhill Baths. A community hub uniting different nationalities has been targeted by racists. Thugs have scrawled racist graffiti on Govanhill Baths for a second time. As well as vile comments outside the Calder Street building, staff said racist writing has appeared on phone booths in the area. Words include Britain first, migrants out, migrants must go and Slovaks out. Another reads, migrant ass kissers get AF. Bosses at Govanhill Baths link the racist attacks to the launch of the Govanhill Against Racism event, which is being held later this month. EU migrants can enter UK without border checks after Brexit, government confirms. EU migrants and black market goods will be able to cross into the UK without any checks after Brexit, the government admitted today. The Brexit department confirmed there would be no immigration or customs checks on the Northern Ireland border once the UK leaves the EU, despite Britain seeking an end to free movement of people. Government officials revealed the only measure of control would be to stop migrants getting the legal right to work in the UK, a move that could force them into cash-in-hand work in the unregulated black market. Children's Society says lone migrant children cut off from justice due to legal aid cuts. The Children's Society yesterday released an important new report which finds unaccompanied migrant children are facing a punishing combination of cuts to legal aid and skyrocketing Home Office fees as they struggle to resolve complex immigration cases. We'll be sovereign. Tory says Brexit means migrants will come to UK for right reasons. A Tory Brexiteer has insisted the EU divorce will mean European migrants will come to the UK for the right reasons, with the UK removing the pull of benefits. The rise of white nationalism and anti-immigration bias. The recent violence in Charlottesville by white supremacists is cause for concern not just for the United States but for the global community at large. Some have predicted that the next wave of terrorism may not come from religious extremists but from far-right and alt-right groups. Such was also the case with the recent attack by a 48-year-old white man who used his van to mow down Muslim worshippers outside of Finsbury Mosque on June 19. Talking to reporters, London's Mayor Sadiq Khan had stated, "Terrorism is terrorism. It doesn't matter whether you're inspired by a perverse force of Islam, a perverse version of Islam, or you're inspired by some other motives to try and terrorize others. The intention is the same." Home Office shrugs off dreadful asylum living conditions. An asylum seeker from the Congo contacted this newspaper this week in desperation and hoped that we could provide a voice for the voiceless. "We are happy to oblige. The group of people living in the Home Office's dispersal accommodation in Kilburn are living in horrendous conditions that should bring shame on this country." Ruth Davidson calls for government to review immigration target. Scottish Conservative leader's remarks highlight split at top of party over its tens of thousands immigration pledge. A split at the top of the Conservatives on immigration policy has emerged after the Scottish Tory leader, Ruth Davidson, called on the government to consider scrapping its target of reducing the number of new arrivals to tens of thousands a year. Hiring refugees, we have an amazing wealth of talent on our hands. Finding work as a migrant comes with huge challenges, even for the highly skilled, but there are entrepreneurs offering a lifeline. Laughing with customers one baking hot Saturday last month, while encouraging them to taste chai teas from a market stall in Forest Hill, southeast London, marked a momentous occasion for Ahmed Yousufi. After a long battle to find employment, it was the Iranian refugee's first day of work since arriving in the UK 8 months ago. "I really enjoyed it as I could practice my English and meet different people," says Yousufi, whose dream is to be a dentist. "It's interesting. I think it'll be a fun place to work." Although he's applied for jobs, 22-year-old Yousufi has faced challenges common among refugees when seeking work: a language barrier and no local work experience or references. He's just started a part-time job with tea company Chagaram, which provides employment to refugees and aims to help them better integrate into the UK. Syrians can now upgrade to full refugee status, new form issued. Virtual hearings to be trialed in Immigration Tribunal from October 2017. To make sure we reduce inconvenience and cost to our users and provide greater flexibility and access to our services, we must deal with cases in the most efficient and proportionate way. Study finds asylum judges failed to assist vulnerable appellants. Really interesting study, which should be carefully considered in the immigration and asylum chambers. A genuine couple can enter in a marriage of convenience, says High Court. A couple may enter into a marriage of convenience, even if they are in a genuine relationship. Upper Tribunal provides guidance in cases of judicial bias. In Shivapat, Appearance of Bias, Sri Lanka, 2017, UCUT 293, IAC the 7th of July 2017, frustrated novelist and president of the Upper Tribunal McCluskey J considers the law surrounding judicial bias in the tribunal. EU migrants barred from claiming benefits after Brexit as Theresa May revives David Cameron pledge. EU migrants will be barred from claiming in-work benefits unless they have been employed for at least 4 years after Brexit under plans to revive a pledge by David Cameron. We need a fairer immigration system for young people who have grown up in the UK. This year, International Youth Day was dedicated to celebrating young people's contributions to inclusion and social justice. Yet there are currently thousands of young people living in the UK who are both denied justice and prevented from fully contributing to the country they call home. Thousands will have grown up in the UK, been educated here, and think of themselves as British but are undocumented. living here without regular immigration status. Theresa May's immigration target is leaving her increasingly isolated. I have never known a government policy supported by so few members of the government. It is May's target and her ministers barely pay lip service to it. Brexit is becoming a hall of mirrors. The government wants to leave the EU customs union but then replicate it. Ministers insist that free movement will end in 2019, but say that EU nationals will still be able to come to the UK. Immigration officials branded racist after Uganda's Queen of TV denied visa to enter UK. A campaigner has accused the Home Office of institutional racism after an award-winning Ugandan actress who was due to appear at the Edinburgh Festival was denied a visa to enter the UK. EU citizens will be free to live in Britain after Brexit but will need permits to work under new Home Office immigration plans. The NHS and benefits rights of new EU workers are not clear, but 4-year waiting period for benefits has been suggested. EU citizens will still be able to travel to and live in Britain after Brexit under new immigration plans, it has been reported. The principles of freedom of movement will stay in place for those who want to visit or stay in the UK, but a system of permits will limit the number of working migrants under the Home Office proposals. Thank you for staying with me. See you in the next video.